be other remedies are available to us.
Mr. President, for the record, I agree with the impeachment court with respect to the non-issuance of subpoena to members of the House. However, nothing bars a member of the House from testifying voluntarily if they are called by the defense as their witness.
No.
And insofar as allowing the defense to present evidence on this matter, for as long as it is on a short leash and will not entail the calling of all 188 of them, which would be unreasonable to say the least. And I think Council will agree with me.
Yeah, we have already... I'm sorry.
For the record, Mr. President, Your Honor, that is the position of this representation. So the defense can be given some leeway with respect to developing their case.
I am not yet crying for liberality in favor of the impeached public official. Many a times, the prosecution had been crying for the extension of liberality on their part. If there is anybody who should cry or call for liberality, it should be the impeached public official, being the accused in a criminal case. Never is there a time where the prosecution asked for liberality. I was a fiscal for more than 20 years. I never asked for any liberality.
We submit and we thank the distinguished counsel for the defense for his
Thank you. Now, may we pose a question, if Your Honor, please. We have 3 members of the House of Representatives whom we intend to utilize as adverse witnesses, Your Honor. If we call for a subpoena, if we ask for a subpoena to compel their appearance, Your Honor, it may again fall under the previous ruling of this Honorable Court. But this time, we are not calling them as ordinary witnesses, Your Honor. They are calling them as adverse party. And the law allows us under the rules of court, Your Honor.
Who are the adverse party that you want to...
For instance, Congressman Bayan, Your Honor, Congressman Kimpo, and Congressman Tanyada, Your Honor. And then we will dispense with Congressman Gonzales. We are calling them not in their capacity as Congressman, Your Honor, but in their capacity as complainants, Your Honor. So they are adverse party, Your Honor. If the court will not lend its assistance to us, we'll have no alternative. We cannot compel them to come here.
All right.
Mr. President, may we recognize the minority leader, Senator Cayetano, and then Senator Drilon.
The minority floor leader.
Magandang hapon, Mr. President. Justice Cuevas, magandang hapon po.
Magandang hapon din po.
Gusto ko lang po maintindihan ng mabuti yung posisyon nyo at yung pinag-uusapan natin. Narinig ko po yung terms na due process and in very layman's term, yung makinig muna bago humusga. Hindi po ba? Tapos yung probable cause, no, determination of probable cause. Basically, tama ho ba, ang hinihingi nyo sa amin, magkaroon ng preliminary hearing para i-determine precisely kung nagkaroon ang House ng determination ng probable cause o hindi.
Wala na po, because that was denied already.
Okay. So
when we move or requested for a preliminary hearing, there was already this resolution of January 18.
Sige po. So now you're asking us
to allow. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, sir. Doon naman papunta yung question, please.
We were praying for the liberality of this court and its magnanimity to allow us to present evidence, even on a trial on the merits, to prove our point, Your Honor, which we were not able to do because our motion for a preliminary hearing was denied, Your Honor.
And sir, what you want to prove is that walang determination ang House ng probable cause, ergo, it's a violation of the due process of your client, the impeached official, the Honorable Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. In a nutshell, go ahead po.
Not only that it is a violation of the due process right of the accused, Your Honor, but it is a constitutional mandate on the part of our judicial department that the accused should be entitled to due process. Notify him, allow him to be heard, and then decide the case.
Okay. Sir, the reason I ask this question is because I am sympathetic in general.
Thank you.
And I always use the example that we use in law school na ang Diyos nga mismo nakita niya na kinain ni Eva at Adan yung mansanas pero hindi niya kagad hinusgahan, tinanong niya, di ba, ba't kayo nagtatago? Anong ginawa niyo? So before he condemned, he asked them a question. Having said that, Your Honor, if we look at Article 11, Accountability of Public Officials, Section 3, Paragraph 4, no? In the case of verified complaint or resolution of impeachment is filed by at least 1/3 of all of the members of the House, the same shall constitute the articles of impeachment. and trial by the Senate shall forthwith proceed. So my problem, Your Honor, in being sympathetic with your plight is this. If we granted you a preliminary hearing, or if we allow you to present evidence now, saan to pupunta? Pag nag-ruling po kami na walang probable cause or walang determination of probable cause or hindi kayo dininig ng lower house or ng House of Representatives, sorry to use lower house, the House of Representatives, we will be in effect amending the Constitution. We will be now saying that mali ang paragraph 4 ng Section 3 ng Article 11 because we will be basically telling the House, kailangan nyo mag-hearing muna. May I finish, Your Honor?
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
But it is very clear here that when you have 1/3 of all members signing the verified complaint or resolution, it shall automatically constitute an article of impeachment. So unlike a case in the fiscal's office, na kailangan ng piskalya i-inform pareho, makinig sa parehong side, and then determine whether or not meron probable cause. In the case of paragraph 4, pag binasa ng congressman at pinirmahan at umabot sila ng 1/3, yun na po ang determination ng probable cause. The Constitution itself does not call for, I'll let you give your side, Your Honor, after this, no? But just to elaborate and please tell me if mali ang pagkaintindi ko or kung you have a different theory about, specifically I'm talking about section, paragraph 4, no? Dahil ako'y naniniwala, this is the mode na inakyat sa atin ng impeachment, no? So Your Honor, pag binasa ng congressman to, pag umabot ng 1/3, diretso na to sa Senado. Pag hindi to umabot ng 1/3, nagkakaroon ng proseso sa lower house under paragraphs 1, 2, and 3. During the impeachment of President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, Congressman T.G. Ginggona here, myself, Congressman Joel Villanueva, then Congressman now Senator Chis Escudero. Ito po tanong namin kay sa mga kadibate namin on the opposite side. Sabi namin sa kanila, do you mean kahit na napakalakas ng final namin resolution, kahit klarong-klarong may probable cause, pagka hindi kami naka 1/3, ibig sabihin, ang finding nyo walang probable cause. On the other hand, even if it's a scrap, it's a piece of paper na walang laman, if 1/3 signs, it will go to the Senate at meron ng probable cause yun. And there was always a unanimity there, na pagka yung 1/3 nakapirma, pumunta na sa amin yon, ang trabaho namin, hindi i-determine yung probable cause. Ang i-determine namin, number 1, meron bang impeachable ground? May ground ba for impeachment under the Constitution? Then number 2, proceed with trial, whether or not nga guilty yung tao. So, yun po ang problema ko. Assuming I say, I asked for a reconsideration because I voted with the majority and I think the ruling of the presiding officer and of the impeachment court is correct. But assuming for the sake of argument, sabihin natin dapat bigyan ng hearing, dapat payagan ang defense na magpakita ng ebidensya na hindi nagkaroon ng due process or ng probable cause, no? Pero ang Constitution na po nagsabi na kapag kayong 1/3 may nakapirma, due process na yon. Dito na siya magpaliwanag. Ika nga ng mga pulis, boss, sa presinto ka na magpaliwanag. Dito po ang sinabi, boss, sa impeachment trial ka na magpaliwanag, wag na sa Committee on Justice. So, Your Honor, my question is, and answer the way you would like to, sir, is, are you saying that unconstitutional ang paragraph 4 or this paragraph is in fact violative of other parts of the Constitution? Kasi if we return this to the lower house, yung effect po will be nullifying this mode of elevating an impeachment case to the impeachment court.
Now,
I'm through, Your
Pwede na
Honor.
ako.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Senator. It is not merely Justice Cuevas espousing that view. It is the Honorable Supreme Court already. In the two cases I have mentioned, the impeachment complaint was filed by at least 1/3. And the Supreme Court said that is no exemption
So
from
Your
the
Honor,
determination of probable
my question
cause.
is, can the Supreme Court amend the Constitution?
Well, it's not amending. That is the interpretation.
But how
There is
can
no-
you interpret it any other way? Ang nakalagay po dito, In case a verified complaint or resolution of impeachment is filed by at least one-third of all members, the same shall constitute the article of impeachment.
Correct.
Hindi po nakalagay dito, the House shall now have a hearing and determine
Wala rin
probable
naman ho
cause.
nakalagay dyan that there is no necessity of determining probable
Nakalagay
cause.
po, Your Honor, and trial by the Senate shall forthwith proceed.
Yes, but in this jurisprudence it is stated it can be asserted before the lower house.
Well,
Before the
go
house.
ahead, Your Honor.
If it is denied, then you can go to even if the impeachment case already filed. And if it's the impeachment court may act on it, either granting or denying. So it is a reconciliation.
Your Honor, I will not answer that statement about the Supreme Court because I think in our ruling we mentioned about the ruling of Chief Justice Davide in the Estrada trial. But I'll stop there. I thank you for answering those questions. But I just like to put that on record that I support the decision of the court. And I don't think there's any other logical interpretation of paragraph 4, which I read. No, I mean, if we're going to interpret it that we require the House to have a hearing, it will be the same as the other paragraphs, Your Honor. But anyway, I will let because of due process, and we hear both sides. We hear you're not arguing with me, I'm not arguing with you, but I just want to put that on record, Your Honor.
With due respect, Mr. Senator,
Yes.
if we follow that dictum, then there never can a time be when impeachable officers may be immune from impeachment proceedings filed by any disgruntled individual. Because all they have to do is gather at least one-third. And there is no more investigation. There is no more probable cause.
But, Your Honor,
It goes direct to the Senate.
that's
If we
precise-
If we
Yeah.
follow that dictum, that will lead to disastrous consequences.
But, Your Honor, if you-
The
if we-
security of tenure provision will definitely be laid to rest, and it may not be invoked by any impeachable
But
public
just for the information of the court, Your Honor, that is precisely in the records of the debate of the Constitutional Commission. Yun po precisely ang debate nila. Na if you ask for a majority of Congress to impeach a public official, it will be very difficult to impeach a public official. Pag isa, 5, 10 naman, it will be very easy. So ano yung compromise? When one-third affix their signature in a verified complaint or resolution, automatic na, punta na po ito sa impeachment court. At tinanong nga doon, but will that be subject to abuse, etc.? Ang sabi nila, it's not that easy to get one-third. And we cannot assume that the House of Representatives will not act in good faith. So, Your Honor, that's the balancing of accountability and transparency here. If you make it almost impossible, then you give the Supreme Court justices immunity. Ang presidente po, 6 na taon lang siyang immune sa suit. Ang Supreme Court Justice, pag 55 years old ka na-appoint, ang sabi po nila sa mga Supreme Court cases, in fairness to them, not only now, matagal na itong mga kaso na to, hindi ka pwede mag-file ng disbarment. Hindi ka pwede mag-file ng criminal case. Kailangan impeachment muna bago mo silang kasuhan. Dahil kung hindi, indirectly tinatanggal mo sila. So kung pahihirapan naman natin ng husto kung paano sila i-impeach, maghihintay tayo hanggang 70 years old na sila, hanggang mag-retire, at dun mo lang pwedeng kasuhan. Wala nang remedyo po ang taong bayan. Ang mamaya, wala nang pupuntahan.
Hindi po.
No, Your Honor, I was just responding to your thesis that it will be so easy. But I mean, I've been a congressman for 3 terms, and I've been monitoring Congress. I think ilan pa lang po ang na-impeach by this mode.
I think we have...
But thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for this time.
Mr. President, the Senator Drilon
I
and
think
then...
we have sufficiently argued this case. But anyway, the gentleman from Iloilo is recognized.
Mr. President, I'll be very brief. The defense here, Mr. President, is making a plea that they be allowed to present evidence on their affirmative defenses.